Africa is on X.
At Africa Melane.
It was during a week-long operation by the Gauteng Traffic Inspectorate as well as the Road Traffic Management Corporation, where officials found widespread non-compliance amongst taxi operators, including more than 100 minibus taxi drivers operating vehicles without valid documentation, while some were found driving unroadworthy vehicles. Last week, we spoke to the spokesperson for the MEC for roads in Gauteng, who raised a concern also around operating licenses that had been approved but had not yet been collected. We thought we'd get the voice of the taxi organizations now. The National Taxi Alliance spokesperson, Theo Malele, joins me on the line. Theo, a very good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you and to your listeners, and thank you very much for having us.
Why do we still see so many vehicles in Gauteng being driven without valid license discs, being driven without operating or valid driving licenses for that matter, and so many are still without roadworthy certificates?
It is such a sad situation that Gauteng finds itself in. To be fair and frank, our mission as the National Taxi Alliance is to, protect and defend the wishes and aspirations of taxi operators. And one of the key issues that we've always been advocating has been that of, roadworthiness and the safety of passengers. It is our policy that every taxi operator needs to ensure that the vehicles that they use on the road are fit for purpose. And those that have decided to actually, break the laws and bring in drivers without, correct documentation and unroadworthy vehicles, they unfortunately have to face the wrath of the law. We cannot defend such people when our policies are just clear as daylight.
What do you think should happen, though, Theo, to rid our roads of these drivers and these vehicles? Because ultimately, they do take on passengers, and passengers unwillingly sometimes get into vehicles that are not safe for them to drive in.
Well, they certainly have. Look, we, as the National Taxi Alliance, have always been pleading with government for government to issue, operating licenses for scrapping purposes. Because one of the key requirements of scrapping an old vehicle is that it needs to have an operating license, for it to be scrapped. So we've been pleading with the department for quite some time now for them to issue such. I think it's about time that they now have to heed to our plight and issue those, operating licenses for scrapping purposes so that we actually get rid of these vehicles off the roads in Gauteng so that the deserving passengers can now enjoy, traveling safe and, for services that they pay for.
Last week, I spoke to the spokesperson for the Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC, Kidibone Diale Tlabela, and he highlighted that there were a significant number of operating licenses that had been approved, not for scrapping purposes, operating licenses in order for drivers to operate in Gauteng that had not been collected yet. I'm not sure what would be the reason for non-collection of operating licenses.
Well, some of the reasons for the collection of such is that because the process itself of processing an operating license has been quite tedious to an extent that some of the operators may have also passed on, and there has also been some bogus people that have been masquerading as taxi operators that had gone to the department to do such applications. So now when it comes to the associations to unearth those people, the associations realize that some of the names that are contained at the department that also claim to be part of their association are indeed not, members per se. So those then are actually been, scrapped. And, we're busy helping the department to clear the system of such rubble.
Final question then, Theo. I imagine you are in support of the Gauteng provincial government's efforts then of having these regular operations to ensure that only vehicles that are duly licensed and are roadworthy are the ones operating, ferrying our passengers across the province, correct?
Absolutely. Without a shadow of doubt.
All right. Theo, thank you very much. Theo Malele, speaking on behalf of the National Taxi Alliance, reflecting on the week-long operations carried out by the Gauteng Traffic Inspectorate as well as the Road Traffic Management Corporation last week.